Hey everyone, welcome to the Sith Justice Warriors podcast for the May the 4th recap. Talking about all the fun Star Wars news with our pal, Princess Lumpia.
Hey.
Hey, so I thought I would get some surprises, and I kind of did get a surprise, and I don't know how to feel about it. So, as everyone can see on the screen, Star Wars took advantage of a lot of the spotlight on the fact that May the 4th is a Star Wars day. And I know that there's been some announcements about some toys and things like that, but let's get to the big nitty gritty here, which is the announcement that according to this one, it's Taika Waititi, is set to direct and co-write new Star Wars feature film for theatrical release with Oscar nominee Christy Wilson Carn Carnes? I'm butchering that. Cairns? I don't know.
But we keep going because it's kind of like not bolded. But if you look at the bottom, like it's like Emmy nominee Leslye Headland to write, produce, and serve as showrunner.
No, but it's like, yeah,
Did you notice that?
No, but we got to focus on Taika Waititi, right? This is what's more important. And I heard Christy was the lady who wrote the is it 1917, 1914, or whatever it was.
1975, that movie that won some awards.
1975, but I don't know.
Was it? Oh no, 1914. Sorry,
Yeah.
1975 is the band. My bad.
So I've never watched that, but I mean, some people say it's really good. That being said, yeah, I mean, the big thing is Taika, right? He's center stage here.
Don't you love the font too? Because it's really like faded, like faded. That announcement about Leslye. Like
Yeah,
it's almost like they don't want you to see that. It's like faded.
And actually, I could swear when I first saw this that this actually was never there. I actually thought this was never there. No, I'm being serious. I think they added this.
And there it is, 1917. It was Christy.
Yes. Big news is they say, hey, you remember Thor Ragnarok? I know you guys liked that a lot. So
well, he did do an episode of The Mandalorian. That's the connection.
And this is a question for you. So he's, I mean, obviously we know Taika, Jojo Rabbit. He's done Thor Ragnarok. And as you said, the Mandalorian episode. So he did the season finale. Now, I must admit, I have not had time to watch the whole thing of Mandalorian, and I probably will do that to catch up. But Lumpia, what did you think about his season finale? Was it like a Taika Waititi special where it's all funny and odd and weird?
There was definitely funny moments. I mean, we talked about it, I think, before when one of the stormtroopers punches Baby Yoda. Like I mean, that's actually risque for Disney. If that's the one, I think I'm gonna fact check it right now, but because I was wrong about it wasn't The Last Jedi. I'm gonna correct myself from yesterday's podcast. It was The Rise of Skywalker that wasn't available until today. Last Jedi was, but let me see what episode he directed. But everyone was up in arms, and one of the people who punched him was Adam Pally. Because Adam Pally I know him from the Mindy Project, and he does a lot of other random comedy movies. But I know Taika did one of the episodes. I'm just trying to think which Mandalorian episode it was. But if it was this one, then that I'm thinking of, then there was a scene where, yeah, because The Mandalorian was only eight episodes, right? So he did. Let me see, which one did he do? Let's see. Yep, he did number 8, and I think he did number 7. So that was like a two-parter. No, Deborah Chow did number 7, so he did number 8. That one was like, I think that was where one of the stormtroopers like freaking punched Baby Yoda. And even I was like, oh my god, Baby Yoda just got punched. Like he just got punched, and then you find out. I think one of the people was Adam Pally, and the other one was Jason Sudeikis. So and so many people were so upset because they punched Baby Yoda, but it's that offhanded sort of comedy that Taika does that was driving the episode. But other than that, it was pretty serious. There was also a really sweet moment. Spoilers, guys! Like when the robot from the beginning episodes, the assassin robot that was trying to get Baby Yoda. He comes back. He's reprogrammed as sort of a nurse robot. He ends up, blowing himself up to protect Baby Yoda. It was actually a really sweet moment. So there's a lot of feels, if you will.
Okay, so the question is this appropriate? I must admit, I like Thor Ragnarok. But is it appropriate for Star Wars?
But to have him direct, is he directing though the? It just says new untitled Star Wars. So is this the one with like the all female cast? Is that what this is?
No, we're not going to talk about by Lady Leslye yet because we have to unwind.
I skipped ahead.
My lovely Lady Leslye.
I think that Taika can do fine. Honestly, I'm believing in him. I just hope we don't get Taika'd out. But I think he'll be fine. If they keep sort of the same tone and the same engagement as the Mandalorian.
But that's the thing is if he makes it a joke, a funny thing like a Jojo Rabbit satire-y, which by the way I've only watched bits and pieces. I was on a plane and I just could not keep my attention on it. It just didn't hit me. But it had that Wes Anderson. Was it Wes Anderson?
I love Wes Anderson. Yeah,
I love him too. But I don't know why this one didn't. Jojo Rabbit didn't hold me on the plane ride.
I think you just have to be in the mood for stuff like that. Even the Wes Anderson films, I have to be in the mood for. But to go back to your question, I think it'll be appropriate because he didn't make it about being funny. Now it depends on what his Star Wars series is going to be. Are we talking about the Knights of the Old Republic? Are we talking about a show about random stormtroopers? Like that's the content I think we need to understand. What is this about?
What if it's just like a ragtag, like kind of like a band, like
Suicide Squad?
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. I know he can execute. The question is for me, what is he going to execute? Because Kathleen Kennedy's still there. My lovely Lady Leslye is going to take over, and I'm just curious about if he's. Remember, he's the guy who went on Twitter saying, "Ha ha, Thor is female," even though, like, I guess we can accept that's how it worked in the comics. But I'm gonna. I don't know. He has credibility. I just don't know. I don't know why this is not exciting me as much as I thought it should.
It's not exciting you because you don't know what the content is. That's the thing. But what scares people is that it's because I think the content will be decent if it's this person from the 1917. I've heard many accolades about that film, but I think what's scary is the Leslye piece. So do you want to get into your concerns about Leslye?
No, I'm not concerned. I'm gonna quote serious hashtag the future is bright. Look at that.
That's what May the 4th is all about.
My lovely Leslye Headland, Russian doll. So let me pause. Is she the one who does Bachelorette?
I don't know. Is she? That's funny if she is.
My lovely. It's very appropriate. My lovely Lady Leslye here. Yes, it's finally been official. Lovely Leslye is going to do the Star Wars series for Disney Plus. She will write, produce, and be the showrunner. Meaning the buck stops with my lovely Lady Leslye. And let's see, streaming platform. Okay, so then they make the whole jab about Mandalorian 2, Cassian Andor, because let me tell you the story about Cassian Andor. He dies on the Death Star. Spoiler alert. And then the Adventures of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which you think on May 4th you kind of want to promote this one, but it's underneath my announcement from my lovely lady Leslye here.
That would have been the one to push forth, actually, for May the 4th. That's the headline that should have come out, is that, more news has been announced about the Obi-Wan series versus they're rewriting everything. But that's asking for too much.
So, hashtag is the future bright? Is it bright? And I have to stop with the serious stuff because we were going offline back and forth on this, and so I
know. I think you hurt his feelings. I think his feelings.
That's why he didn't show up. Yeah, and yeah. So let me stop going. Yeah. And go to the meat of this. What do you think about the future of Star Wars?
I don't know. I'm concerned. I do think they're bringing in the heavy hitters, but it's a matter of how you use the resources at your fingertips. I mean, everyone thought Ryan Johnson was the right person to bring in. Everyone thought that J.J. Abrams was the right person to bring in. And look at what happened. So everyone thought that, having Mark Hamill was the right thing to have in this last set of the trilogy. Like, again, it's about the resources. Just because you have Mark Hamill in the final 3 doesn't mean you're going to end up with a great movie. So I will leave it at that because it's all about how you use the resources.
Okay. I'm just skeptical.
As usual.
I'm skeptical as usual. I think yesterday's stream doesn't really change much. I guess the question I'm gonna throw out. I don't, and I apologize, I don't know the YouTuber who made this in their podcast, but they made the observation that they're surrounding folks with a Jon Favreau, what's his name, Kevin Feige. They're also having Taika Waititi. These are MCU people. Then you have the Leslye, my lovely lady Leslye. Then you have all the other storyboard folks of the Star Wars Lucasfilms that we love. I guess the question is, are we trying to root out we're having a bit of a power struggle of let's take the successful people in Marvel and move them into Star Wars to offset what the old guard keeps trying to inject with people like my lovely Leslye.
It could be, but it also could be like they already have a relationship, so it makes the best sense. Or they already have contracted them for something, and the reality is that it's not going to happen, so they're repurposing them. Because we don't know in the background what these guys have signed up with. As you know, sometimes when they plot out these things, like, for example, Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., they were signed for X amount of films ahead of time. We don't know what the situation is with Jon Favreau, Taika Waititi. We don't know necessarily their contract deals. And with the movie industry the way it is right now and things getting pushed out, I'm not surprised that they're reallocating the resources that they have to these projects because they may owe them work. Do you know what I mean? Like RDJ, like he was supposed to be in X amount of films for Marvel before his contract was over. So what if Taika Waititi was supposed to be contracted for something more? And this is kind of the fulfillment of the contract. It's still under the umbrella of Disney. It's just not Disney Marvel, but it's still Disney Lucas, Disney Star Wars. So
that's a good question. That's a good point. I don't know. We don't have insiders as far as I know. So.
No, we don't. But I'm just thinking, as an industry, it's quite possible. I mean, with the other piece of it, to your point, with the people who dropped off, I mean, they had the powerhouses that did Game of Thrones, and then they freaking dropped off like freaking flies. And when you think about it, I feel like since they lost a lot of people, big names, I feel like they had to come back with a big name to make up for it.
They did. They got the best showrunner, Leslye Headland. Just think about it. You replaced Benny. Was it Benny? Benny.
Benioff and Weiss. Yeah.
Yeah, you replaced them. Who, again, previous podcast we just dissected it. They had J.R.R. Martin, J.R.R. Martin, right? J.R.R. Martin he set the table all the way up to the final season, and all they had to do was just take it home, and they mucked it up. So now you replace it with Emmy-nominated writer Leslye Headland.
The Bachelorette.
Yeah, is it The Bachelorette? Because
Bachelorette is when it's the woman looking for a husband.
No,
Bachelor.
Is she actually like the? So she does couch casting for the woman who's the Bachelorette. I mean, she's learned from the master. She has been on record talking about how a particular person she worked for, that she was the assistant for, taught her everything she needed to know. And we know that my lovely Leslye here, it's very appropriate that she deals with the Bachelorette. Is this the Bachelor? Like, I'm interested. Is this really the Bachelorette? I'd be more interested to know about that. We need to get.
Well,
That's a.
You know what? No, it's not Bachelorette. It's Bachelorette. She has a novel. It's called Bachelorette.
Okay, so so
it has nothing to do with the
Bachelorette.
The Bachelorette.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
And it's a film actually.
Okay, that's what I figured. It's like it's not The Bachelorette.
I just thought it was, okay. But it's not.
I do believe she does. What's it? Couch casting.
Couch casting, yeah.
I believe she's involved with that couch casting process. I'm not accusing her of anything. I'm just saying they do that couch casting. It's what they do. Hollywood. You know what I mean? Anyway,
gotta love it.
I'll stop on the head. So that was the big news, and I think the other thing that just interested me was Star Wars has got all these announcements for video games, and I was just laughing at the idea that since Disney has bought Star Wars, I think the only game that looked good is this Jedi Fallen Order, to be honest. This is the one that I've not played. I've been waiting for a sale or I was waiting for EA Access to have it, where it actually looked like this should have been the movie. It's just that
it would have been a cool movie, to be honest with you.
This would have been this is the movie they should have started with, and Rogue One, and they probably would have had so much goodwill. Like if they did Force Awakens, they did Rogue One, and then they did Jedi Fallen Order, they would have had 3 hits to then muck it up a little bit and still have forgiveness with the fans.
Exactly.
But that being said, they littered their video games with mobile, Magic Kingdom with Star Wars. Look at that. That's so Star Wars. Galaxy of Heroes, a mobile game. They have to reach into the back pocket for Knights of the Old Republic. Minecraft. Let's see what else. Pinball. Console. They have to put on sale Battlefront, the 2004 Battlefront 2, which was actually pretty neat, but it was really boring after a while. And then there's Jedi Fallen, Jedi Knight Academy, and all this stuff. So, thinking back to the Dark Forces days when LucasArts had full control over their video games, I actually feel Disney really lost a big opportunity with making video games.
Yeah, they did.
They did. And no, they just had to get rid of the guy from Dark Forces who was Jyn Erso before Jyn Erso was an idea. But hey, whatever.
There was a really good article, one last thing that I saw. I'm trying to find it, but basically, as we, I think we were talking about it and alluded to it in yesterday's conversation as we think about May the 4th. It was a really good article about how this kind of marks the fact that from now on out, it's Disney Star Wars now. They basically shut the door on whatever Lucas had in mind from a perspective of the Skywalkers. That's done. That's past us. Now it's theirs. And I thought that was actually really fitting because it's very true. They had to literally kill the Skywalkers in order to be able to have Disney Star Wars.
And look at this picture for this video game deals. Tell me, what about these Star Wars are they showing their own sequel trilogy? Which of these scenes is the sequel trilogy? None of them.
None of them.
It's all original trilogy. We're not even talking about prequel. This is that. Look at this scene. Why we love Star Wars. Again, what is this scene from? The original trilogy. Vader Immortal, a VR game for PlayStation VR. Who is Vader? Original trilogy, and to an extent, the end of the around the prequels too, because he is Anakin.
So like I said, I mean, it's
look at this Lego Star Wars. Hoth. This isn't even Jakku, is it? This looks like Tatooine. And of course, they put R2-D2 in the back, but yeah, I mean, look at this.
Yeah, this really truly marks this May the 4th. Really truly marks Disney's, Disney's true ownership of it, because this is from here on out. It's what they want it to be, what they want it to look like, the mold that they want, the stories that they want to accept as real. So let it be. I mean, we'll see how it goes. But this is just truly, this May the 4th, 2020 is truly what I believe, and I agree with that article, and I can't find who wrote which news place it came from. But that is truly what it means. It's now their Star Wars.
Yeah, but the irony is, look at the majority of these articles. I mean, I throw Ahsoka with like that before Disney, because she was like, she lived in, Clone Wars lives in between the prequel and the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of Dr. Aphra, an audiobook, I mean, this was majority of it within the prequels to the original trilogy timeline.
Yeah.
Most of these articles. I just realized that's Rey, isn't it? Anyway. But yeah.
Isn't that Padme? That was Padme.
Are you sure? Oh,
that's
yeah,
Padme. Yeah.
No, because this is Padme. I thought this was Rey for some strange reason. But again, if I look at all these, the majority of it all is about prequel to original, and for all of their talk, they know that the only thing that could sell is...
Oh, here it is. Screen rant. Now with the Star Wars sequel trilogy over, Disney's era can truly begin. And it's so true. So true. Like, they had to kill it in order to rebuild what they wanted to be true. So.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? They're really doing it. And I guess the one question I have to ask, and I wish Sirius was here, is the destruction of core Star Wars, and I guess the rise of the Disney Lucasfilms Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars. Did we do this to ourselves? Did we, by buying into The Force Awakens? Because I was very excited about the future of Star Wars. I knew that in my head, I knew that Luke was not going to live forever, as much as I love it. I knew that when they brought back Harrison Ford, that he would jump on any opportunity to kill Han Solo. Did we do this to ourselves, in a sense that we allowed the stewardship to continue their path of, the path of the dark side?
To be honest with you, and I'm not speaking for the public, but I'm thinking of myself, I didn't want any more. I was happy where they left it at Return of the Jedi because they had all of the, at the time, canon books. And in my mind, the canon books, the canon comic books, the video games. So in my mind, that was enough, and that was all we needed to know. Because in that canon set of now they're legends, Luke had a life. Leia and Han had children. And those children had struggled with the Force, and they also had friends, and there was still this whole nature of the dark side and the light, and Mara Jade, and all of these people were in it to make it interesting, and it was enough. And I don't think that we were asking for this, to be honest with you. And like I said, I'm not speaking for everyone, but I don't think we were looking for more than what we had. Like, I personally think they should have left it the way it was and just went straight to like The Mandalorian, or went straight to, but in a weird way, what they had to do is reintroduce it to the young generation that never saw it and have them buy into their vision of it. And sadly, their vision really didn't match George Lucas's vision. And they had to work with what they had to work with. And they had to burn all of the Jedi texts just to do it. But, like, to be honest with you, we were happy with the video games. We were happy with Dark Forces. We were happy with that part of the saga. We were happy with all the Battlefronts and all the other. We were actually happy with the series about the children. Like, Jason and Ben, and they were twins, and then Mara Jade. Like, we were happy with that stuff. And why we had to go and destroy it is because of what they wanted to do. And to be honest with you, Star Wars could have lived on without them reintroducing it to the youth of of this new generation the way they did. It could have just lived on, and I would have been, like I said, I was happy to leave it. Like, you know how when you leave a movie, you always wonder what happened? Like, I didn't need that because we had it. We had it in so much different media that I didn't need to see a big, old, fat Mark Hamill on the screen drinking blue milk. I didn't need to see that because I had a different vision of him from all of the things that came after the original trilogy. So, yeah.
I, on the contrary, wanted more Star Wars because, as I mentioned, for me, I wanted to see Luke have that really cool lightsaber scene that I could have visioned in my head, but I knew that at the time you couldn't pull it off. And I was looking for the Revenge of the Sith type of final battle, but with Luke. Obviously, I didn't get that, but I wanted that, and that's why I was happy that before my lifetime I would get that. I'm not getting that now, and I never will. And
don't you think it would have been better if you just never saw? Like, that's what I say.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly, I didn't need it. I didn't need the last three.
But I wanted it. I wanted it before. If Disney had the resources, I thought Disney could do that for me.
And to be honest, there's a reason why George stopped. Don't you think he could have asked Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher when they were in their 40s to come do it? That would have been the perfect timing. You could flash forward. They were older. He didn't do it for a reason.
Well, that's the question.
He didn't do it for a reason.
Well, here's the question. That's why I propose this is either A, we as fans didn't force George Lucas to continue it. We didn't, or, when we didn't have control over Kathleen Kennedy being hired. In fact, I think I think George Lucas recommended her because he thought Kathleen Kennedy would be loyal to him, and clearly she had her own.
He was sold a lemon.
Yeah, he was. He thought he had someone that had some respect for him, but clearly we're not seeing that. And by the way, just because she's supposedly her contract's up in the end of 2021 or so, I don't see anyone stepping up to want to take this job. So she may be there by default forever. She probably has things, her and my lovely Leslye probably have information on Bob Iger and even Bob Chapek, for all we know, that's scaring them from just saying, well, COVID is an outstanding natural disaster, so I can, on my contract, get rid of you. He's not doing it, and there's a reason for that. I guess I don't know. It's so bad what Star Wars has done for me, and I think I'll continue to make content and comment and make my spiels. But I guess the question is, it's up to these Twitter fans to just pick up what we've had decades without Star Wars movies since Revenge of the Sith, and we've kept it strong. And it's up to these Twitter people to put their money where their mouth is, because I think at this point, it's slowly dying out for me, at least. And I hope that there are Star Wars fans that are still out there with the same fervor, but I keep seeing these things and I'm just like, when does it stop?
Yeah.
It's not even that. And I warn everyone, Marvel Phase 4, I warn you. The signs are there. Kevin Feige is saying all these things. Eternals is going to be well regarded for being the first whatever checkbox mark or whatever you want to call it. So, well, maybe we just need to hold our studios accountable. But right now, Disney's investor calls tomorrow. I'm not going to do any content about that specifically, but I heard that revenues were down like 90% or so. I'm rambling on a bit, and I'll wrap it up. But I think if you like this stuff, you should support it with your wallet as best as you can. If you don't, you should be very selective in what you buy. That's really my thought. I'm not saying boycott or anything. That's up to you. But if you really like something, you support it. If you really don't, then big companies like Disney understand one language, and it's money. So we're going to get where we're going to get if they keep seeing the language that they understand.
Yep.
With that said, wrap it up, and may the Force be with you all.
And Disney.
and Leslye too. All right, see you everyone. Bye.
Bye.